Good afternoon. I've got good news and bad news. The good news is you don't have to put up with my terrible Hebrew. Almost 12 years in the country, I still feel embarrassed presenting in Hebrew. So you have to put up with my English as well. So I hope that's okay. If it's not okay, there's plenty of coffee outside. The topic I'm going to speak about briefly is upskilling. There's a lot of talk about innovation. There's a lot of talk about Industry 4.0. There's a lot of talk about technology solutions, digital solutions. What is less talked about and what is perhaps 10 times more critical is the ability to bring our workforces, to bring our management, to bring our people with the change. And the simple reality is the workforce that will exist in 10 years' time will look completely different to the workforce that exists today. Skills needed to compete in the future economy will be completely different to the skills needed to compete today. And I want to take a little bit of time to talk about that upskilling that is needed by companies, that needs to be embraced by governments, and above all needs to be embraced by people in the journey of upskilling. There is all of the slides tribute to Rinat and Hila from my team who are sitting here and who will be on the booth all afternoon if you want to learn more about the details. And you can speak to them in Hebrew. So what are CEOs worried about? In a global survey, 79% of CEOs are worried about the availability of key skills. It's not about cost, it's not about revenue, it's about the ability of key skills. Why are key skills important? Because I think the CEOs in this room know that key skills are critical to the success. What's interesting is if you look at the chart and the growth of this as being an issue, the growth of key skills being a shortage of key skills being an issue for CEOs has exponentially grown over the last few years. Each year, according to conservative estimates, there will be a radical change creating skill mismatches for between 5 to 10% of all employees. That's the pace of change we're going through. Every year, 5 to 10% of skills change for people in the workforce. Organizations need to plan for this. Now, I've been in Israel for 12 years, and I know that long-term planning is sometimes not the favorite skill of many of my clients, but this is something that really needs planning around. This is a real reality. It impacts PwC, it impacts our clients, it impacts many of my friends who've been trained in one set of skills and whose skills are no longer required for the future. Globally, 75 million roles by 2020 will be in decline and 133 million people will need a career path. That's the scale of the change. Now, what is the solution to the skill shortage? There are many solutions. You can recruit, you can hire, you can use consultants. I obviously advocate use of consultants, but carefully. But you can upskill. You can take your workforce with you and engage them in the change journey that they need to go through so that their skills are relevant. And that is the preferred course of action, is upskilling. And the good news is 77% of employees and managers are ready to learn new skills or retrain to remain employable in the future. The good news is people want this. People understand that the skills they were trained on when they went to university 10, 15, 20, 25 years ago are no longer relevant for the future world, for the digital world, for a world where people live and work much longer. So people want to change. The question is how. So what is driving the change? Some of this is obvious. Technology is driving change, but it's not just technology. Demographics are driving change. People are living a lot longer. People are having to work much later in life. Shifts in global economic power. The world is changing geographically. And one very interesting thing which is not in the slide pack, the global supply chain is changing. This is an industry conference. For the last 20 years, companies have invested in outsourcing and offshoring low-cost resource to the Far East to gain cost advantage. With automation and with the rise of digital technology, that is becoming less of a really important reality for companies. So there's an opportunity to onshore skills that have been offshored for a long time. Rapid urbanization and resource scarcity, they're all driving this change. However, something like $3 trillion is invested in technology investment in each year. So the default answer is technology. All studies show that with that huge investment in technology, there has not been an enormous growth in workforce productivity. Workforce productivity remains low. So it's amazing. There's been an enormous investment in new technology, but new technology is not yet driving that change in productivity. People are worried about this topic. People are scared about this topic. I run a local charity fund in my spare time where people are very concerned about reskilling. Employees are very worried about it. I'm working with one client now that is going to go through a 180-degree change of its DNA in the next few years to compete with its competitors. Its people are worried. So, I've already spoken about what impact it has. This is at the heart. People say people are important. Well, let's just say why. Because if you don't have the right skills and the right people, you can't innovate effectively, you can't stay on top of your costs, your quality standards will slip, you won't be able to pursue new initiatives and new market opportunities. So reskilling is critical. So let's talk for 2-3 minutes about how to do it. So firstly, it's not training. This is not, we'll roll out a 2-day training program and give a little bit of training in a topic called upskilling. This is a fundamental retooling of people's career paths we're talking about. And this involves cultural change. So, firstly, the good news. Automation is not going to kill all the jobs that people take today. Automation and digitalization is going to change the nature of jobs. People will become more important. Many jobs which are done routine jobs will go through automation, but people skills in those critical pivotal roles will become 10 times more important, and economies that have those people will become more successful, and that's one of the advantages for Israel. But companies and people to succeed need to be adaptable. Culture of adaptability is going to be critical. Now, how does Israel stand up in this challenge around upskilling? These are just my thoughts. This is not the result of the study. This is something Rinat Hillel and myself brainstormed. Israel has many pros, which enable it to compete in a world of upskilling, which other countries don't have. It has an adaptable and flexible nature of the culture. In parts, it's sometimes a little bit of PR that we're adaptable and flexible. We're not as adaptable and flexible as we like to think sometimes. But we have technological skills and engineering levels which other countries don't have. So we have natural advantages to harness and utilize technology. We have some challenges. Companies, even the largest Israeli companies, do not have the size and the bandwidth and the fixed cost to go through the massive transformational upskilling programs that the large global corporates can unleash on their employees. They don't have the bandwidth for it. Israeli companies can be short-term in their planning. Governments can be short-term in their planning, which doesn't help looking forward to 2030. There is, and it's been talked about this morning, a disconnect between the high-tech world and the broader industry. A lot of the skills naturally gravitate towards broader industry, gravitate towards high-tech. I think you'll see a rebalance over time. As people realize and recognize that there's as much technology taking place in industry as takes place in high-tech. But there is a gravitational dissonance at the moment. And obviously, like in many countries in Western Europe, unions will play a role. Unions need to be engaged in this upskilling challenge. Countries which don't have unions, such as in many places in the Far East, will be more competitive and more flexible. So, each company is different. Every organization has its own set of challenges. But what does upskilling look like? Upskilling looks like 5 things, practical 5 things. One is to assess the skills gap and the mismatches in skills needed to compete in the digital age. Companies need to ask themselves the question, what skill sets do I need to compete against my competition, to provide value to my customers, to be efficient and effective in the new age? And that's a question every company should look at and assess its skill gap accordingly. It needs to build a skills strategy. So you'll hear increasingly more words about skills strategy. You hear a lot about innovation strategy, about business strategy, about technology strategy, but you'll hear about skills strategy, because skills are the key to everything. I've seen so many strategic plans which say we want to do X, Y, and Z, but they can't do it because they don't have the people skills to enable X, Y, and Z. Well, that has to change. There is a cultural shift to engaging the workforce in shifting its skills, to enabling people to retrain and to reskill, to upskill. It comes with investment dollars, or shekels, depending on the exchange rate. Then there needs the implementation of upskilling, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that for 30 seconds on the next slide. And this needs to be tracked as a program, but it is not a training program. One message I want to give is companies view the solution as technology. And this is an approximate graph of the scale of change many companies are going through right now. They're surfing through a world of adoption of a new CRM, a new HR module, expense reporting, ERP, staffing modules. The number of systems being landed in companies is extraordinary. The degree of adoption by companies of those technologies is very low, because people are not given the basic skills in a way they understand to adopt technology. They're sent a link saying, please adopt this technology. People like me, partners like me who've been given no training in technology, can't simply adopt. So technology is being wasted on people. There are some very, very good examples you can see on our booth about how adoption in technology can be made more effective. And the reality is 75% of digital transformations fail to generate returns, and 70% of failed transformations are due to a lack of behavioral change enabled it. So if there's one message, we are very good at paying lip service to people being the most important element of change. We're very good at doing that. We always say, we need to believe it, because if we're going to adapt to the new world of Industry 4.0, 5.0, 6.0, 7.0, it's going to come with upskilling people. So, the first thing to do is to get the story straight. To work with the business and HR to produce a narrative which engages people in the journey that they're going to be part of. People are scared about this. A lot of companies are avoiding the issue of how their workforce is going to adapt to the new skill shortage of the future. And it's not just workforce, it's managers. A lot of companies, manager has been a standard role for the last 20, 30 years. Fundamentally, it's changing. I know this because my clients have different issues to the issues they used to have. The issues they have now are fundamentally different, and my consultants need a different set of skills to stay 2 steps ahead of their clients. So, to summarize, what should leaders be doing? Upskilling is one of the most urgent problems of our time. It's under the radar. It's a major, major issue, and again, it's not training and it's not about technology. We need to create the right environment for people to thrive, to keep people's attention and harness the potential we have to encourage and develop skills that will make them enjoy work. And this is not just about Generation Z, or Generation AA, Generation AB. This is about the current workforce. We need to engage people in this journey, and if we fail to do that, people will walk away. And it is much harder to compete if you can't keep your skill-based and adapt them. And the last thing I'll say is PwC is an organization, not in Israel, I should clarify, is an organization of 250,000 consultants and accountants. It's a nightmare, right? We've taken the decision to invest $3 billion globally in upskilling our workforce. Because to stay relevant, we need to upskill our workforce. I think all companies have the same responsibility to set a strategy around their people, around how their people are going to be relevant for the new age of all the things we're talking, all the disruption we're talking about. And upskilling is a core component of it. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you for your time, and you're welcome to pop by our booth to learn more before, during, or after lunch. Thank you.